Welcome back to All the Dice. This is our third episode in the D&D for Beginners series, and today we're getting to my absolute favorite part, creating your very own hero. This right here is where the magic of the game truly starts. But I get it, staring at that blank character sheet for the first time, it can be a little intimidating. You've got all these boxes, these numbers, these words you've never seen before. It can feel like a pop quiz you didn't study for. But don't you worry, we are going to make this whole process way less scary and a whole lot more fun. Because what if I told you the secret to a great hero has almost nothing to do with the numbers and everything to do with the story? We're going to use a super simple framework that turns that scary blank page into a creative blueprint for someone truly unforgettable. And we call it the identity triangle. The identity triangle is just an easy way to think about building your character from the ground up. It's built on three really simple core ideas. Your origin, which is all about where you come from, your calling, which is about what you do best, and your story, which is who you were before the adventure even started. So let's start with that first ingredient, your hero's origin. Think of this as the foundation of your character, the bedrock of their whole identity. It's about their heritage, the culture that shaped them, and their place in this big, magical world. In the game, you'll see this called race, but I want you to think about it as your heritage. Are you a tough-as-nails dwarf carved right out of a mountain fortress, or maybe a graceful elf who grew up in some ancient mystical forest? Your origin is the very first chapter of your hero's journey. And see, your origin isn't just about what you look like, it's about story. A dwarf who grew up deep in a mountain clan is going to have a very different take on the world than an elf from a timeless forest. This one choice gives you this rich well of history, traditions, and even some natural talents to pull from. All right, next up on our triangle is your hero's calling. The game calls this your class, but this is so much more than just a job title. This is your character's unique way of seeing and interacting with the world around them. It's their special talent, their lens on life. So, you gotta ask yourself, what is my hero's unique talent? Are they a master of the sword, seeing every problem as something to be overcome with strength? Are they a weaver of cosmic spells? Or maybe a beacon of divine light? This isn't just about what they can do, it's about who they are at their core. Let's make this real. Imagine a giant, imposing castle. A fighter looks at it and sees a fortress to be conquered. They're thinking about tactical weak points, guard patrols, the height of the walls. But a wizard, they look at that same castle and see a tapestry of magic, a web of protective wards and enchantments that needs to be carefully unraveled. Same place, two totally different worlds, all because of their calling. And that brings us to the final point of our triangle, your hero's story. The game calls this your background. And honestly, this is where your character really comes alive. This is the story of who they were before they ever dreamed of becoming an adventurer. Think about it. Nobody is just born an adventurer, right? Before they were a hero slaying dragons, they were something else. Maybe they were a soldier, a quiet scholar, a sailor who'd seen the world, or even a traveling entertainer. That past life is the key to figuring out who they are right now. So how do you cook up a compelling backstory? It's actually pretty simple. First, just pick a past life. Let's say you were a soldier. Easy. Then ask yourself the big question. What changed? Why did you leave that life behind? Maybe you deserted your post after a really brutal battle. And finally, decide what drives you now. Are you maybe looking for redemption for what you did? Boom, that's a story. Okay, now that we have our three ingredients, origin, calling, and story, it's time for the real magic. Let's see how these pieces click together to create a hero who is completely and totally unique. So let's take that warrior we were talking about and bring her to life with our identity triangle. Her origin is human, which gives her this natural ambition and drive. Her calling is a fighter, so she's a master of weapons and combat. And her story, she was a soldier, a veteran who's still haunted by the ghosts of some long-forgotten war. See? Together, those three elements create a hero with a deep past and a really exciting future. And this is where you can get so creative. A half-orc soldier is going to have a totally different story than a human soldier. A fighter who was born into nobility is going to have a completely different worldview than a fighter who grew up scrapping on the streets. The possibilities are absolutely endless, and every single combination creates a hero that is 100% yours. Which brings us to the most important part of all of this, the game. The rules, they give you the building blocks. but it's your imagination, your creativity that actually breathes life into your hero. Without that spark from you, they're really just words and numbers on a page. So I'll leave you with this one question. Using this identity triangle, who will you be? If this explainer has sparked your imagination and helped you get started, please be sure to subscribe to All the Dice for more D&D goodness. And I would love to hear about the hero you're dreaming up, so share your ideas down in the comments below. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.